Hi, I'm Bill Krieb, and I'm with the Leslie Bates Davis Neighborhood House, the United Methodist Community Center. We're one of the partners that's involved in our faith-based housing build here in East St. Louis community, and we've been building homes for almost 10 years here. This housing build on 8th and Summit is being done by Eastside Heart and Home, which has been one of the partners involved, and we hope to start on this project. Well, as you can see, we've already done the block work for the foundation, and we will be putting in our deck on Monday, and by May 16th we're going to start a 2-week blitz build for the project, which will mean that in 2 weeks we hope to put up the walls, the roof, and have the completed project done.
Getting it all built in 2 weeks is amazing, but given that it'll all be done before we get there, how can the Access Youth Group help out?
Our landscaping piece of it, which is done right at the end, which we hope to do around June 7th, the week of June 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. And it'll involve putting in some bushes and planting grass and doing some leveling off. And we hoped over there on the right, we hope to be able to maybe do some gardening projects for the community also. Good afternoon. This is Bill Krieb again. I'm the director at the Leslie Bates Davis Neighborhood House, which is a United Methodist Community Center here in the East St. Louis community. We're looking at some projects, mission projects, where some teams can come down and help us here in the East St. Louis community this summer. The Neighborhood House, it's interesting that we're celebrating our 100th anniversary of being in mission in the East St. Louis community. The Neighborhood House was started 100 years ago by a group of Methodist women who saw a tremendous need here, and over the past years the Neighborhood House has grown to be the largest community center in the East St. Louis community, employing more than 250 people and having more than 300 volunteers who work at 4 different centers. The center we're here at 1200 North 13th Street is the oldest, which was actually built and called the East St. Louis Settlement House. It was where people would do short-term mission work and live here for 1 year at a time, and then work in the programs down on the first floor and in the basement. A couple of the projects that we're looking at is, one, we have an old playground in back that we're hoping to see if we can get that fixed back up, and maybe even use half of it for a community gardening project. With the downturn in the community, a lot of our families have lost their jobs. A lot of our elderly people who are on fixed income are struggling, and so many of them have talked about trying to get some help with starting a community gardening project. Also on the other side in the back of the Neighborhood House is an old playground that we're looking at also trying to refurbish and paint up and fix up, and fix the fencing around the Neighborhood House, so if we do the gardening project we would have some protection, and there is quite a bit of vandalism in the community, and so the fencing would help a lot with making that happen. We also have some projects inside the Neighborhood House, which include tearing out some of the old carpeting on the 3rd floor that's been there for years and putting in new tile floor. Also doing some painting and fixing up on the 1st floor. One of the problems is that the building is so old that we have a ramp that goes from the street down to the basement. Many of our programs are on the 1st floor, and so we're looking at possibly putting a new ramp in that would allow people to access to all of our computers on the 1st floor. So all the programs the Neighborhood House runs are vitally needed by the people in the community, and maintaining a building in this community is pretty important at this point in time. So hopefully we'll be able to get some people to come down and on some mission trips and help us over the next year as we celebrate our 100th anniversary.
Hello everyone, my name is George Calhoun. I'm the husband to Essie Calhoun, who is the founder of Opal's House, Inc. It's a shelter for women and children that are victims of domestic violence. Opal was educated in the East St. Louis School District for over 30 years. She was when they integrated the school system in East St. Louis, Illinois, she was the first black English teacher in the system. She's been a very active lady in the neighborhood, And I'm pretty sure she's smiling at us for the work we're trying to do to bring this to fruition. Opal never met a stranger. People would come by for whatever cause they need, she would always try to help. And we're trying to follow in her footsteps of helping people.
So, when are you hoping to open?
We are prayerfully planning by the end of the summer.
And what do you need to open? What are the last projects or the last amount of money you think you need?
As you can see with Martin and Scott and Gary and Pastor Raj, they're building the stairway from the second level, because without that we would not pass code and we could not get the doors open. So
The other items that Essie mentioned need to be completed besides finishing up the fire escape, include putting in steel doors along the basement and along a couple of doors upstairs. They include putting in some trim around the closets and around some baseboards. And they include patching a number of minor holes around various walls.